Welcome back to the KillCast. Dun dun dun. KILLAZ.INC podcast. My name is Sharpie360, and we're joined again by my co-host, KILLAZ.INC founder, DJKILLAG, and little brother, CL Gergen, on the mobile device. So, what's up, bud? You've been with the KILLAZ.INC crew for longer than I have, and we're welcoming you to the podcast. Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
So, what's up with you?
Man. Work, kids. That's about it.
Wish I had some crickets.
So, what kind of gaming do you do? Me and DJ obviously are more on the PC aspect of things. You tend to hang out more on the console end of the realm of video games. So, how's that whole life treating you?
Pretty good. You know, everything from Switch, Xbox, PS4. I just got the Oculus Quest. I need to get a PC. I'm thinking about building one soon, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Do it.
We should. It'd be a cool thing to cover on the channel. I'm thinking actually about doing a budget build for my dad's new PC, $500.
I said, give me some tips, man.
Some tips?
Buy the most expensive shit you can get. Oh, no.
Yeah. My tip for you is go AMD. Well, no, actually, you're probably just gonna be gaming. So I'd probably just go with Nvidia and Intel at that point.
No, go AMD. It's cheaper price.
Hey, yeah. DJ said to go most expensive. I could just buy that all-in-one console, gaming PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, all-in-one.
Oh God, what's that?
It's I forget what it's called. The one Unbox Therapy did a thing on it, but they literally, I mean, the case is 3.5 feet tall, and it's got Xbox built in, so PlayStation, Switch, and it's a full gaming PC on top of it.
They just took apart all these consoles and put them in a case.
Yeah, it's like $8,000.
The Origin Big O.
Yeah, that's
Holy crap, dude. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's like it's got a dock for your Switch on the top.
This thing is insane, dude. I'm gonna have to link this. I'm gonna have to get some footage of this, put it in, just because it's that crazy. So this thing is an Xbox One, a PS4, a Switch, and a PC all in one.
Yeah, they can always like look up the Unbox Therapy. Lewis did a full in-depth breakdown on it. It's pretty sick. I'm
actually on that video now, so I'll take some video from this and I'll link it in the description as well. That's pretty interesting. Go for it, DJ.
So about this build on this computer all-in-one deal, is it essentially they just took apart an Xbox, took apart a PlayStation, put it all inside this case and built a computer with it?
Yeah, they took a Xbox One X, a PS4 Pro, the Switch docking station. They built it into a massive gaming PC, and then it all runs through the gaming PC. So if you wanted to stream or even just make YouTube videos, it's all built in. You just hit a switch on the side of it, and you'll switch to whatever console you're playing, and you can just record from there.
Interesting. I would like to see it run through the actual PC as a video input or something like that, instead of having to switch between interfaces. I have the specs pulled up right here in front of me, so it looks like it is the case is a custom Origin PC Genesis custom, obviously. RAM is sitting at 64 gigabytes, Corsair Dominator Platinum RGB 4x16. And the OS drive is running 2 terabyte Samsung 970 EVO M.2 drives. So pretty badass machine to begin with. On top of that, it's got the specs for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 Pro and Nintendo Switch as well. Xbox One X motherboard, custom cryogenic hardline liquid cooling for that, 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda SATA SSD, and original operating system digital only. PlayStation 4 is running at a PS4 Pro motherboard, whatever that means.
That means they took apart the PlayStation 4 Pro and then put it inside of the computer case.
Basically, yeah, and they did that with the Xbox One X.
Yeah, basically it's the same setup as they have running for the Xbox. So essentially
what they did was they linked the power. It probably all has like a power distribution inside of it that they run all the console's power supplies to. And then the video is probably linked through like an internal style capture card.
Yep, so power supply for the PC is a 1000 watt EVGA Supernova G3 add-on card. They're running everything through an Elgato gaming capture card at 4K 60.
It's kind of what I figured.
Cool. So that's a pretty cool build. I like that. That's pretty dope, but pretty impractical. obviously.
The price point is ridiculous. It's like $8,000.
Oh, geez. Bragging rights at that point, just bragging rights.
Again, like Daniel said, go with the best money.
No, I spend as much money as you can to get the best thing. I feel like
I know.
You could build yourself something pretty sweet.
Oh, I wouldn't even spend half of that, and I could build something good.
I think Sharpie put what 16 total into his.
Yeah, it was 16, and that was a lot of that went to the case. Well, not a lot of it. The case was pretty expensive. It was about $250, and then I bought a really good graphics card, top of the line for the price point or whatever. And then we had an M.2 drive on there as well, an Intel and M.2 drive, a 660, and that ran about $200 on top of that. But that was for my brother, so it's a little bit different in that case.
If you're gonna build a computer, just don't skimp out on the graphics card.
Yep.
That's the most of it, man. Is you gotta get a decent graphics card, otherwise.
Yep. Yeah. The one thing I have to say about your video,
I say like I said a bunch too, but I don't know. I think it turned out pretty well. I mean, that was
no, it was a good video for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm open to all. I tend to do that when I'm talking. I say some stuff, that especially when I'm recording, like I said, and there you go. I mean, I don't really know how to end sentences very well. Next topic is going to be, we're just going to talk about the Xbox X and how that is essentially a pre-built PC.
Yep. Well, and then I don't know if you saw, they released the teaser for the Xbox, whatever the fuck it's called.
That's the one.
The new one.
Yeah, the new one.
X is the one I have.
Oh, Series X.
Series X. Sharpie misses words sometimes.
Yeah, apparently they're calling it the they're just going to be calling it the Xbox now. It's
it's supposed to be at least from what Phil, the head of Xbox, was saying, is it's supposed to be like a modular setup.
I haven't seen anything on that. What I've seen is it's going to be running Navi, onboard graphics, and Ryzen 3 series. It's declocked down to like what do we see it as? 1.6?
Yeah, it was 1.6, and then the turbo or overclock or whatever you want to call it was like 3.2 gigahertz. It was just double it.
But it won't
which will only run for what, 30 seconds at max before it starts throttling. There's no way it's gonna boost at half or double the speed.
It depends on their cooling solution.
Yeah. Well, all I know is when they first announced it as Project Scarlet, he was saying he did an interview where he was talking about how the next Xbox he wanted it to be a modular setup. So who knows?
That makes it a fucking computer.
Exactly.
That's basically what it is. It's a computer with an Xbox controller.
Yeah, with a proprietary operating system.
Well, and I'm concerned about the cooling system of it because it only has, I mean, if you look at it, it's essentially a 6x6 or 8x8 tower standing up, you know, a foot and a half, and the only ventilation that it looks like. What?
It's a Dell Optiplex.
Exactly. It looks like the only air cooling that it has is coming from the top of it, and it doesn't look like there's too much room on the bottom to push that air out.
The one thing that I saw too is that they didn't show pictures of the back of it, so I'm wondering if they have more fans put in the back.
That is a good possibility. Hopefully they would do that, because I only see the air intake from the top.
Yeah, so you'd have to have some exhaust fans out the back. That's my guess. Because they didn't show any of the back. They always did that, like, you know, off to the side tilted look, not the full on 360 of it.
The backs are probably the intakes, and then the top one's probably going to be the exhaust.
Oh, you think so? That would
more than likely.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
Well, yeah, push the heat out the top.
Yep, that would make sense.
Heat out the top.
That would probably actually work pretty well for cooling in that air sense, or in that sense of airflow or whatever.
Or just like building a computer, it's all about whether you want positive or negative charge in your case is going to determine, you know, how it cools. It's all.
All right, let's not get too into it. Save it for the podcast.
Well, I'm gonna just put this shit in the podcast at this point. Like we can just we'll just keep going, and I'll edit the stuff out with the swears and stuff. But like, because it's a good conversation. Let's keep it going a little bit. So inside of there, it's going to be the AMD Ryzen 3 architecture and Navi architecture for the graphics card. It's going to be a custom, obviously, it's going to be a custom graphics card system.
It's going to be a custom chipset, but it's still going to be based off Navi architecture.
Right.
So it will support ray tracing. So it'll be interesting to see how they implement that.
Did you TechRadar put out a thing saying that it has potential for 8K. I wonder how
Yeah.
that's gonna work.
I agree, but well, I agree. I
I
get it.
agree to disagree.
I get it, but okay, when they said that the Xbox One X was going to throw down 4K, it throws down 4K, but it does it not great. I mean, in
You
terms
have
of
to have like the perfect setup for it.
well, and still, I just don't think it's powerful enough to run 4K 60 frames a second on, at least not at
Certain
not.
games do, but
Yeah, but don't they run like HDR, like high dynamic range, and like a
so I know
varying resolution?
with some games, yes. I know Red Dead, when they put out their big patch, 3 months ago, in the options you have a full 4K with unlocked frame rate. But again, there are moments where it does dumb down a little bit, but not like dropping it all the way down to 1080.
Yeah, my whole premises on this is that when they came out with this, they stated, Xbox One X 4K capable. Well, now they're saying, this new Xbox is going to be 8K capable.
8K, yeah.
But at what frame rate? Like, are we talking like it runs 8K at 15 frames a second? Because
Exactly.
it's not going to be acceptable.
Yeah, no, it's got to be,
We could do an
come on,
8K.
give me 8K at 60.
Yeah,
I think
we can do an 8K image, but
I think they're just both.
Yeah, we could do 8K for your cutscenes, but that's about as far as it goes.
and those only run at a capped 30 FPS anyways. Every time I run a cutscene in Witcher or Red Dead, for that matter, Red Dead 2, it's 30 FPS cap. I'm just like, why? Why are they doing that for the cutscenes of all things? But to save space, I'm sure, optimization. The next topic that has been giving us some issues, personally, myself and DJ on the PC side of things, have been Red Dead Redemption 2. So, just giving a preface of the whole thing, we took us about an hour and a half just to install and get the thing running with decent settings, both of us. And we're running very nice computers, obviously. You can check out the builds. I'll leave the link in the description below. Anyways, so Red Dead Redemption hasn't been running very well, and we've been getting a lot of green screens on my end, to be honest. And what about you, DJ? How's it been going?
It's actually been running pretty well. I mean, the initial setup and figuring out what to run my settings at, it definitely shows my GTX 1080 graphics card to be somewhat dated, or maybe the game's just really poorly optimized. It's still a beautiful game. It's just I seem to be running around, 50, 55 frames a second at 1440p with a lot of eye candy turned on.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that. I'm used to the 90 frames in 1440p. It's not as like it's not as good as I'd like it to be, but it's still really good and it's really clean and it's a really good looking game. So
the one thing I have to say though is they've had that issue before when they port their games. They take their time doing it, and it seems like the initial first couple months, the games run like crap on PC.
yeah,
or you'll just have your issues.
As Sharpie remembers, the first week of it didn't run. So
yeah, it was pretty difficult to get it running. We were having a lot of issues just running the game in general, getting it to launch and all that stuff. The issue that I think that they're running into a lot is the issue that is running, or The Witcher ran into back when they were optimizing that game for release, because they pushed it to the very edge of what they could possibly output, and everybody was still like, oh, this game is downsized and downgraded and blah 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 blah. Just like, it's such a massive game, and there's so many textures and so detailed that it just honestly, I don't think our systems can handle it at this point. And obviously there's a little bit of poor optimization, but when I was running around in the beginning of the prologue or whatever, when you're running around in the snow, I would be constantly running across divots in the snow that were like impacts or whatever, like the snow textures weren't loading for tons of areas, and it looked really weird. I probably be able to pull up a clip of it. It's hard to explain, but it was just like you have already been walking through there, but it wasn't. It was just like the textures of the snow weren't loading, and I was just like, what the hell? Like, but that makes me think that it's too much for the system to handle. There's just too many textures for the system to draw. But I don't know.
Well, I completely disagree.
I think what's going on, at least from my opinion, is Rockstar knows their niche and they know they're more for console players. And then when they go to port it, what they end up doing is they just try to push it as hard as they can, push it, because they want to give the PC players all the options and everything that you get with PC.
Yep.
But internally, it ends up kind of breaking the game. So then they're backtracking a lot and having to do all these major fixes for things like the snow sprites.
Yeah, but I don't feel as though the game's broken. I just feel that it's poorly optimized. I think the port kind of sucks. Maybe some future updates will make it better. I don't think the game's broken.
Right.
Sharpie's in. I think a lot of your issues you're having with green screening and whatnot could potentially be some hardware issues you're having, but I haven't had any crashes on it. It runs smooth, with G-Sync enabled at 50, 55 frames a second. Occasionally I get some dips, but it still runs smooth and still looks really good. It just, like I said, I think the overall port isn't the best.
And that could be too because Rockstar is already focusing on their next big game too. So they're pushing it off to one of their smaller studios to port it out to the PC players.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can say that as of late, it's been running pretty decently, other than last night where it just crashed randomly. But I think that's not enough juice. I think that's where it was coming from. But when I first started playing this game, it was pretty bad. It was crashing pretty regularly. I haven't experienced that as much as of late. And it hasn't been the same actual crashes that I've experienced at the beginning. So I do believe that they're working on and optimizing it and fixing things.
And that's what they did with GTA Online as well. When they ported it, it had its issues, and then over time they just started working on it and getting it to where it's perfect for the PCs.
Exactly. They code the games to, run on consoles. They code the game to run specifically on consoles. So like when it comes to porting to the PC, it's a whole different ball game. It's not as simple as just like, okay, run this on PC.exe or whatever. It's got to essentially refactor all of your code
to
you
run
on
give them
PC.
Credit, they added a bunch of stuff to it. We have far better field of view than the consoles do. We have far better textures than the consoles do. So they added quite a bit to it to
totally
up to the expected level that PC gamers want.
Right.
It just, like I said, it makes my GTX 1080 look pretty dated, and it is. It's like what 3-4 year old card. So
yeah, that's what I'm worried about with building the PC is just the constant upgrade. But I mean, I'm ready for it. I guess
it really isn't that constant.
Yeah, the nice thing about it is although the stuff constantly comes out with new iterations of it that are slightly better, you buy a decent rig worth of components and that'll last you for 5 years easy. Like I won't have to upgrade anything on my rig for.
The one thing I noticed is the graphics card, but the rest of it's like going from a Galaxy S8 to a Galaxy S9.
Yeah.
Like all they did was upgrade the cameras.
Hey, you're talking to a guy that ran an FX 8350 overclocked 4.8 gigahertz for 8 years because I was a fool and bought an FX processor and got burnt by AMD.
Damn, dude.
Well, the bulldozer architecture was garbage.
You were one of those.
I was, but you know what? I kept that sucker, and I kept it overclocked at 4.8 gigahertz for like 8 years. Okay, one time I had it pushing almost 5 gigahertz, but it wasn't.
You were running LN2 on it too, weren't you?
No, no. We could have got 7 gigahertz then. No, I ran it at 4.8 gigahertz for like 8 years, man, and I was perfectly fine. The only things I had to do was just upgrade my graphics card. That was it. And I understand it's not the best gaming, but so I'm losing 15 frames per second versus other people because my CPU is junk.
Right.
It wasn't a huge deal. You know what I mean? It still played all the games. The only reason why I upgraded was because I got such a good deal on the Ryzen setup that I have.
Well, I was going to say on a quick side note, by the way, me and you can do VR games together now. Hey.
Can we?
Yeah, the Quest goes with the Vive and the standard Oculus Rift.
So talk to us about this Quest. What is this? Is this like a wireless VR?
So what they did, I can't remember the guy's name, the former head of id, he got hired by Oculus, Facebook, to develop a fully wireless room scaling VR. So on the front of it, it's got 4 cameras. And what you do is you set your boundaries. So you don't have to have the cameras around your house anymore. And it's also got motion sensors in the controls. So even if the cameras don't see your hands, your hands go where they should, and perception, I guess, with where the headset is. But basically, fully wireless, full charge. I get like 5 hours of gaming out of it. I can play. I've been playing Duck Season on it. I found a little emulator thing for it, so I can play Duck Season because it hasn't been ported to it yet. But it works just fine. But it's pretty cool. It's complete wireless. So, like when I was playing yours at your house, the thing that bothered me the most was the cord running down my back.
You got to get used to it, is all. But yeah, no, I get it kind of breaks the immersion.
It does. And with this one, I just got a new game. It's called The Climb, and I've played some of the
By
VR
Miley
climbing.
Cyrus. I love that
No.
song.
But no, with The Climb, I've played some other climbing simulators, I guess, with VR. And with that one, I mean, because there's nothing touching you, and the headset is so lightweight that when I'm up and I'm doing what I'm doing, you actually feel like you're all the way in it, which is nice. Or I have the killing floor on it. When I play the killing floor, I get to use the whole living room, so I can literally run from cover to cover. I don't have to worry about getting tethered or getting out of camera range. It's a pretty sick little headset for what it is.
That's fucking awesome. So that's the dude who was heading up id Software, so John Romero, right? Or is it John Carmack or Tom Hall?
John Carmack.
John Carmack, okay.
He did a pretty sweet podcast with Joe Rogan where he talked about like leaving id after Doom and when they sold it to Bethesda, and then he talks about the last game that he worked on, and then he's like, and then Facebook was just like, hey, we have this offer for you, come make something that's completely wireless that people can take on the go.
That's Facebook? Yeah,
Okay.
right. I'm not super stoked that it's Facebook, but I think that fact that it's completely wireless and it doesn't really require cameras because of the motion sensors is super dope. And I think it's the next step into it.
Well, you can also do like with the HTC Vive, they had TPcast came out with a wireless system. The Vive actually has its own wireless system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just launched that not that long ago.
I mean, there's add-ons to do it. I don't mind the cable so much as it can break immersion, but I feel like in games like Arizona Sunshine or Onward or even Pavlov, those are games where you're doing a lot of maneuvering, turning around, 360 turns in your living room, and I've never once gotten tangled up to it to the point that
so that would be the kind of person that I am, because I get tangled up in my own guitar cable when I'm playing and stuff. So I feel like if I'm doing 360s and stuff, that will eventually end up in some sort of traumatic experience to my PC. I don't know, man. Like, I think at the same time, like, when I thought, and this is what we talked about in the podcast that didn't come to fruition because Sharpie screwed up, but I think that when my ideal version or my ideal persona of VR essentially is like, or this is what I think of it when I come to it, because I've done the like VR horror movie kind of thing where you kind of got to get out of the house and there's creepy clowns everywhere or whatever. That was all right, but I'm just like, my whole perception of VR is essentially like .hack sign. It's like you put this headset on, you have a controller in your hand, and just mentally get immersed. You're not actually physically moving around.
Well, and that's the thing with the Quest. So you can't, like, they showed off people, they'll go at night and they will map off a whole acre. You can't do it during the daytime because it messes with the cameras a little bit, but people will go out at night, map a whole acre, and you can play in a whole acre field if you wanted to.
There's mods for games like, okay, you could do the Doom 3 VR mod so that you could play Doom 3 in VR. And there's button commands. Like there's this one guy, I can't remember who it was, but it's on YouTube. He has it set up in his like 20 by 20 garage. And when he holds a button, it locks the camera so that he can turn around. So he knows when he's getting to the edge of his garage, holds the button, turns around, and keeps walking. And all of his movements throughout the whole game are him actually walking.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
The big thing too, Sharp, if you're worrying about like tripping and hurting your PC, I'll give you a story. The only time I ever fell down in VR was my kid's mom's dog decided that he was going to barrel through the house, and dude, straight up tripped me, fell forward, broke a rib on my coffee table. So,
oh damn.
so don't worry, as long as you don't have dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really too worried about that. It's the fact that my gaming PC is in a room that's essentially 2 feet wider than a jail cell. So, yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah. So,
I don't really have
living that
room for
prison life.
VR.
Prison
But
life.
me and my brother are actually considering getting a VR setup for the garage because we have that PC out there, and VR is totally blowing up. He's interested in it. I'm interested in it. We'll just
it's good.
get some shit.
If you can get one, dude, I highly recommend going for a Valve Index.
See,
it's got the
Roba
highest
said
depth.
that was garbage. He's like, this is such a piece of shit.
I stop listening to that guy sometimes. It's got the higher resolution, so it's going to be less pixelated. It's going to be a more sharp image. It's got the pressure sensitive controllers, so that, I mean, and dude,
For the fingers.
Yeah, have you seen the Node videos?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yep.
Okay, so like if you watch those videos, they can, like, it has sensing to tell how far away your fingers are from the controller. It's freaking
insane.
crazy. Yeah, you can be flipping people off in video games.
Yeah, they're doing that. Oculus is actually coming out. I think they said with a controller like that, or they're trying to do a glove feature.
That's
where
what I'm
you'll
saying.
Have full motion.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said last time. It was like, we need a fucking glove. It needs to be a glove.
I agree,
in order
but
to get
I disagree, man.
In order to get full control of your tendrils, it needs to be a glove.
Sure.
Like,
and then you can hold the
think
controller in that glove for
Yeah,
buttons and stuff. Sorry.
that might work, but I feel like if it's just a glove, you know, and you're playing a war game or something, you're holding a gun, trying to make the movements, you don't have anything to hold on to.
That's what I was gonna say. I think the biggest problem is if you play a war game, or if you even play just Gun Club VR, like dropping the mag and putting another one in, those controllers kind of guide you because you butt the controllers together. But if you're rocking just standard gloves, like trying to find the slide because there's nothing in your hand to rack the round or drop the mag and put a new one in, I think that's where people are going to have some issues with it.
You know what I think it's going to take at that point is going to be like an actual, kind of like one of those old school Nintendo gun controller things. Like, it's going to actually have to have a physical controller that you can push buttons on and be like, I'm dropping the mag, putting it in, like reloading.
Yeah.
And a trigger button and stuff like that. So like you have like the control over your hands, but you also have this like object that is in game, and you can control it by pushing the trigger and pushing the mag release button or whatever like that, because that would be the most immersive thing, because you're not just going to push a button to release a clip. You're going to actually have to push the magazine release on the gun. So if you integrated that into some sort of controller, it's a whole market. They could come out with tons of different gun models.
You would almost need like an airsoft gun.
Exactly.
A modified airsoft gun.
Exactly. A modified airsoft gun with a button and a trigger that's, you know, a button and a mag release and a trigger, essentially. That's really all you would need. And it would be able to tell if you pull it up to the sight or whatever like that. And
they made the guns for VR. I don't know if you've seen them.
I haven't.
I haven't.
They did for the HTC. It uses one of their remote sensors that sits on the gun model itself, and then it plugs into it, and then you just use the regular buttons on the gun.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so the Mag P90 VR gun controller for HTC Vive.
Yeah, you'd use a motion sensor.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's what they need to do. Otherwise, you're not gonna get. You can't. There's no way you can get full immersion by just.
Have you done it yet?
Controller, because you can hold it, but like, you're not constantly holding on to the arm and barrel stock of a gun. You know what I mean?
But
you gotta push.
Have you done it yet?
No.
Have you actually jumped into a headset and actually played some things like Onward, Pavlov, or even Gun Club VR?
I haven't.
Or Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, Hand Grenades.
I
haven't.
haven't.
When you do that, you're going to find out that, believe it or not, that gun, that having that physical feel of that gun is not nearly as important as you think it is.
You're probably right, but I think that
you will get immersed.
With Gun VR, the one thing, like I said, those controllers, you don't need the gun because especially the big thing was the mag. You drop the mag, and literally you take your left controller, butt it to the bottom of your right controller, and it knows what you're trying to do.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, you reload like that. I get that, and I totally understand. I can totally see that. I just think that myself personally going into a game like this.
Oh, last time I had Christian up here at the house, we were playing, I believe it was duck season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this goes back to the weighted fill thing that we were talking about with Boneworks. Believe it or not, your brain gets tricked, man. Because we were up here and we were playing, and after playing 20, 30 minutes, your arms start to get tired, like you're actually holding a shotgun. Because you're holding them in the respective, positions, and you're doing the respective actions.
Well, just the aiming down sights. I mean, you have to have proper positioning, or else you can't aim down the sights.
Yeah.
Does it go all wonky and stuff? If your left hand is way above your right hand, does it go up?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like the fore end of the gun goes up.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and then on top of that too, it's even just, I mean, after 15 minutes, me and Daniel were joking around trying to do one-handed shots with a shotgun. And I mean, just waving your arm around for 15 minutes with one hand, that arm gets so tired. After a while, it does feel like you're holding the shotgun.
Yeah, and the recoil was horrible when you shoot it one hand.
Yeah, it was so bad.
All over the place.
But see, I feel like that's not legit recoil though, because it's just and
you just gotta do
the screen goes everywhere, but you don't actually have that physical reaction
it
to
doesn't
it.
Punch you in the shoulder, but you gotta remember, your brain gets tricky, man. It doesn't take much to trick the brain.
Do we just need an AK-47 that has a pneumatic buttstock that whenever we pull the trigger, it goes right to the back with a little pneumatic
pistol. Bulletproof walls, and then just take your firearm.
A real gun.
Yeah.
Unload.
I put my HTC Vive on top of my AR-15, and my neighbors called the cops for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it's God damn it.
How you go to jail.
What happened? What happened with you? Well, I was playing my gun game VR, and I loaded the wrong mag into my 45 and shot my neighbor through the wall.
That's brutal.
That's my story. That would be exactly what happens to me. So that's VR. Apparently, we're talking about that now, but whatever.
It wasn't on topic, but whatever.
That's usually how these things work.
It was a good topic, though.
I know. It was a good topic.
So other than VR, next topic we're going to talk about is going to be the Fallout 76 debacle part. Insert number here because we're not sure how many Fallout fails they've had at this point, but
18,000.
In Fallout 76 news, we've had some crazy stuff going on over on that end of the gaming spectrum. Has anybody heard about what's going on at all?
People still play that game?
I stay away from there.
Yeah. Fallout 76 is... Well, anyways, it just continues to get better. So hackers have found a way to get into their quote-unquote dev room, which is essentially a giant open warehouse of every item, unlimited stock, essentially, from what I've heard, of each item in the game. So people can go in there and they can stock up on what they call a mule player, and they go in and trade that with their actual player accounts and stuff like that. So it's been pretty crazy as far as the whole Bethesda thing. They're actively banning anybody who's been in there, and they're telling people that they need to message them or email them telling them how they got into the dev room, otherwise they're not going to get unbanned. So typical Bethesda behavior, not anything new on that aspect. Another spin on this whole story is that hackers have been able to get into Bethesda's servers, Fallout 76 servers, and completely just run amok across everything they have written. So what players are essentially reporting is that they're having some random people run up, and the next thing they know, their inventory is completely wiped out. So what these hackers are doing, they found a way that they can run up to somebody and they can completely wipe out their inventory and transfer it to their inventory by simply clicking a button on their keyboard. Alright, so the biggest thing that's going on in Fallout 76 right now is essentially the hacking that's been going on. So people are reporting that players are coming up to them and essentially wiping out their entire inventory in their in-person inventory. I don't know how you would say that.
It's pretty easy. Just say
They're still in
coming up.
bitch's inventory.
Yeah, they're just coming up and hijacking
But they're not taking
with the use of hacks.
But they're not taking people's scrap, like stored stuff. It's just their on-person inventory. So people are coming up to other people and essentially stealing everybody's on-person inventory, and nobody really knows why it's happening. So we have super high-level characters up to level 400, I think they were saying, that are being completely wiped out. Their inventory is being completely wiped out because of random people coming up and just looking at them. The issue is that these hackers have figured out a way to essentially go up to people, push the E button, and transfer their entire inventory into their inventory because of shitty code from Bethesda. So, thoughts on this, guys?
It's Bethesda, what'd you expect?
Well, yeah.
I feel like they're pretty good at like Doom, and
That's about as far as it goes.
yeah, I think everything else they do pretty much sucks.
I think the main issue with this is that they're trying to use a single-player character creation type engine, where it's like open world and like open-ended, to make like almost like a battle royale MMO, and it's just not working. Obviously, the engine is 10 years old.
Not only that too, but they basically took the engine and didn't really do shit for multiplayer. They literally just were like, hey, Fallout works, let's try to throw everybody in together and see what happens. But the problem was they didn't optimize the NPCs, they didn't optimize just their firewalls, for one. I mean, from day one, people were exploiting the game and finding how horrible it was.
Right, and I think that's, a testament to the whole game in itself. It's just been a complete failure in every aspect, and they're just milking it. I mean, you saw what was happening with the Fallout First subscription crap, whatnot, that we covered in a previous podcast with their amazing webpage. But it's
or just the pre-orders with the helmets. I mean, the helmets had mold in them. I mean, come on.
And the canvas bags that were actually vinyl, it's stupid. It's just like it's frustrating because it's like this company has such a dedicated following, such a dedicated fan base, that they'll do anything for them and spend any amount of money for them, and they're just milking it. They're just like, oh well, it's like a girl or a guy, I guess. It's like a person that's like super addicted to something, and they're just like, well, I don't care what happens in a week as long as I can get fucked up now. They're just like, well, I don't care what happens in 3 years as long as I can make a ton of money now. Like, it's screwing the whole thing over, whether they know or not that in 3 years down the road nobody's going to buy another Bethesda game because of nobody's going to buy Fallout 7 and Elder Scrolls 10 if they keep down this road. Like, they won't be able to make that shit.
They're doing a shittier version than Activision did.
And that's hard to say because Activision is just like terrible.
I mean, just even the new Call of Duty. Oh no, no season passes. Everything's gonna be free, and then they throw out the season pass, and it's fucking Fortnite in Call of Duty. And Bethesda's still worse than that.
Yep. I don't know where that came from, but that was an interesting sample.
It is game over for Bethesda for sure if they keep this bullshit up.
Yeah, dude, no doubt about it. Like, it's insanity that they're just doing this stuff, and they're just like, we're not gonna listen to our loyal fan base that absolutely follow us into the ground. But what are you gonna do? Let's look at
Stop
Facebook.
buying Bethesda game.
I haven't bought it.
I'm gonna let you guys have that because I kind of like Bethesda.
I like their Doom series,
but they did a good job.
Like even Fallout 4 was really good, but all the shit that they're pulling with this 76, I mean, it's making it to where players like me, I don't want to buy another Fallout game because I'm afraid it's going to be just like this.
Right. Well, and I think that's an interesting comment that you said about how Fallout 4 was good, because I think that's a pretty controversial statement at this point. I think a lot of people think that Fallout 4 wasn't very good, mainly due to the fact that it wasn't like the other Fallout molds where they just gave you a basic vault dweller person to kind of like mold into who you wanted to be. It put you in this already predefined story where you kind of had to just figure out the pieces, and I think a lot of people didn't like that because they are used to the fact that they just want to be the person that they want to be and explore the world and do the whole RPG
Well,
thing and not have like an overarching story aspect to the whole thing where you have to.
I get that point, but for me it was a good game all in all is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Of course you could beat the game in an hour if you really wanted to, but the fact they left you that open world exploration, they let you build and do all that fun new stuff that they added to Fallout.
Yep.
Was great, but you're right. The fact that there was that overarching story arc that nobody really cared for.
Yep.
I mean, it's hit or miss with gamers.
I mean, it was a decent story for the most part, but it was still like, I don't want to be put in this position. I just kind of want to play the Fallout games. The thing that kind of drove me nuts above everything else was the procedurally generated quests. You know, where it's like, okay, this place is being attacked or it's overrun by marauders. Go over there and, you know, kill 15 people and come back. Like, the procedurally generated stuff just kind of killed it for me a little bit, because I was just like, I should say that it killed the completionist inside me a little bit, because no matter what I did, it always kept popping up, and I was just like, I don't feel like playing this anymore, because no matter what I do, I'm never going to complete it, because it just keeps popping up all these stupid quests that are generic. And
Quick question. How many Legos games have you completed 100%?
I think 3 or 4.
You have way too much time on your hands.
Well, that's over time. So I've completed Pirates of the Caribbean. I've completed Indiana Jones, both renditions of it, and I think I completed one of the Star Wars games over time. But those are fun because they're casual and they're easy, and I can play them with my kid. And granted, I never really beat them when I play with my kid, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, that was I was listening to your guys' podcast, and you guys were talking about the new Star Wars games. Did you ever get into the Star Wars Legos, or
as far as the games?
Yeah, the Lego.
Oh
Star
yeah,
Wars.
totally. Yeah. I actually, the most recent one I had was Force Awakens, or you know, the new one, Force Awakens or whatever, and I was just like, we don't need to get into the whole Star Wars thing at this point, because this is a pop culture podcast. And most of this will be edited out anyways, but we'll just go right now and say that the new Star Wars trilogy sucks donkey balls. Rey is a terrible character.
Agreed.
Kylo Ren is a terrible character. Disney is a terrible company, and they should never be allowed to make another Star Wars movie again. Okay, so the last topic is going to be the Steam sale going on right now. Looks like the Winter Sale 2019 is going on. They have your holiday festivity tokens available that you can spend on stupid emojis that nobody ever wants. But on top of that, it looks like there's a huge list of games that are on sale. So we're just going to go through a couple of the bigger name ones and see if any of the boys are going to be picking it up. So it looks like the first one is going to be U-Boat.
What the
Never heard of it.
Yeah, well, it's probably a good thing, because it looks like a piece of crap. Anyways, moving on to the next thing.
We're only gonna go over the good ones.
I wanted
what the
that
fuck is
joke
U-Boat,
in there.
bro?
Okay,
It's like Battleship 3D. But okay, so other than U-Boat, the greatest game that ever lived, it looks like the Tom Clancy franchise is on sale. You can get Wildlands for 40% off. Witcher franchise is on sale, up to 85% off for most of the games. That's a pretty good deal. I think you can pick up Witcher 3 for $12 right now. Christian, have you played the Witcher series at all?
I have. I have the Game of the Year edition, and I'm almost completely done with it.
What do you think of it?
I love it. I've always loved the Witcher series. Ever since they Witcher 2, they threw that little jab at Assassin's Creed. So, of course, I was into it.
That's awesome that you know that. Super dope. Okay.
Well, this is coming from a dude who has an Assassin's Creed tattoo, so I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I've been a faithful Assassin's Creed fan for a long time, up until Ubisoft.
The new ones?
Yeah. All right, next things we got up are a couple of our number of indie games we got. So Autonauts, Dicey Dungeon, Strike 4, or Sudden Strike 4, Sunless Skies, Prison Architect Bus Simulator 18, South Park game, Fractured Butthole, World War 3, Chrono Trigger,
you can get
Gloomhaven,
yourself
and
Butthole for only $12.49.
I could. $12.49 to get yourself a Fractured Butthole.
Yep.
That's pretty cheap,
cool.
in my opinion.
That's a reasonable price for a Fractured Butthole.
It's a good game. Anyways,
I mean, your doctor bills are going to be a little high.
Yeah, probably. Sekiro is on sale for 35% off. That is the game of the year according to the GYA. Or GYA. No, that's not right. According to the VGA. Yeah. Greenfall is on sale for 25% off. Dragon's Dogma is on sale for 70% off. Far Cry Lesbian Edition is off 60% off. And Max Payne is 3%. Oh, Max Payne 3 is 65% off. There's a number of different games on here.
Yeah, lesbian. He said lesbian.
So, Far Cry Lesbian Edition is 60% off.
As soon as you said that, I knew you were talking about New Dawn.
Yep.
See, this is why we need to do this more often.
Oh, I told you, boy. You need to get a PC or at least get a condenser mic that can plug into that phone. We got some honorable mentions for the sales going on right now. Jedi Fallen Order, Rainbow Six Siege, Monster Hunter, Rust, Civilization, and it looks like Elder Scrolls is on sale as well for a pretty good chunk off. So, that being said, with the winter sale, what games have we been playing, boys?
Well, picked up Boneworks. Haven't tested it yet. We're going to run through that tonight. Grabbed Halo Master Chief Edition, which is not on sale, but more than happy to pay the $40 for it. And I think that is pretty much it for everything that I've... Yeah, that's all I purchased since last time.
So I just picked up Atlas, which is made by Wildcard. Well, their sub company. Basically, it's Ark, but set in pirate times with no dinosaurs, which is nice.
That's cool.
And that's on sale actually right now on the Steam sale. And then for console games, I got the kids, the Olympics, the Mario vs. Sonic Olympics for Switch, and then also Luigi.
I like how you said you got that for the kids, you liar.
No, I got Luigi for me. Luigi's Mansion 3 for me. Oh, yeah.
We were actually talking about that in the previous episode. Luigi's Mansion 3 won Best
Family
Spooky
game.
Story.
No, it was Family Game. There was no category for Spooky Story.
For Spooky Story? What the fuck, Sharpie?
Yeah, Family Game, a
family
family-oriented
game,
gaming that won. So I actually enjoyed Luigi's Mansion 1 quite a bit on the GameCube, so I would be interested in checking it out if that ever came to be a possibility for me.
Yeah, it's a fun one, but like I said, the main game I've been checking out is that Atlas game because I'm a big Ark guy, so Atlas is pretty sweet.
And it's only on sale, or it's on sale right now for 84% off. So $5 less than. So it looks like Atlas is the most played of 2019 according to Steam, huh? Looks like it's a pretty decent game. I've never heard of it before.
Did you ever play Ark?
Yeah, I played it for like an hour.
Yeah,
so
he quit on me. He quit on me like a little girl.
So it's like Ark minus the dinosaurs. You're set up as a pirate. You have to build your crew, build a ship, and then you go and pillage and plunder. It's pretty cool.
That sounds cool. It's worth the $5. Maybe we could pick it up and do some streams of it.
Yeah, otherwise it's $30 if we don't.
Yeah, and they do cross-platforming, which is nice.
Oh, well, it does?
We need to do that
yes,
for sure.
Just like Ark.
So then we could cross-platform with you?
Yep, just like with Ark.
Did Wildcard make this? Because I'm not doing it if Wildcard... No,
it's their sub-company.
Grape Shot.
Why did you tell me that?
Grape Shot and Instinct. You don't need to worry about any wild cards. There's no wild cards around.
It'll be a broken-ass game.
Yeah, well, at least we can play with
It'll never
Christian.
get fixed. I'll just add more content for money.
All right, gents, so I think that's going to wrap it up for episode 6 of the KillCast. Do you have any closing thoughts from either of you guys? Well, again, our guest has been CL Gergen. So, once been CL Gergen, and we have been joined by my co-host, DJKILLAG. We are the KILLAZ.INC crew, and we're signing out. We'll catch you on the flip side. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more KILLAZ.INC and Sharpie 360 content. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Later.